Another Bermuda VR, buttload of promos that suddenly became good, and glory Maelstrom! Stand up! Vanguard! Hello Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and this is going to be a doozy as we've got a lot of new cards revealed. Most of them were promos, but these are not your typical promos that Japan is going to get for a special festival or event that we're probably never going to get. These were promos that they are going to give out for the special battle packs or something, the special packs during each big set. And we typically get these as well in the Western TCG format. So we're probably gonna get these one. And these promos also look pretty damn interesting, and in some cases also pretty damn good. So we've got a lot of cards to talk about. As stated in the intro, we've got a new VR for Bermuda Triangle, as well as another card for Bermuda Triangle, and the new booster cover box for the upcoming extra booster set with Dimension Please, Aqua Force, and Grand Blue that gave us a big hint of what's going to come. So first off, we've got this Kaguro Grade 3 promo, and it's got a Force marker, so that's already a good start. And its skill is Act on Vanguard Circle, cost, counterless 1, discard a card from your hand, retire all of the rear guards in your opponent's back row, and until the end of turn, when your opponent would call a card from their hand to the Guardian Circle, he or she must call 2 or more at the same time. So basically, your entire turn, every 3 of your attacks, are going to be the same guard restrict that we've seen in most Exo clans. So that's pretty good, but sadly it's a Vanguard skill, so it might be in contest with the other cards for Kaguro. But overall, pretty damn interesting. Then next up, we've got another Grade 2 Kaguro promo, and his skill is Auto Rearguard Circle. When it attacks the Vanguard, if you have more rearguards than your opponent, this unit gets power plus 3k until the end of the battle. When the attack hits, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So that's a pretty damn good skill, as soon as it's free of charge, there's no counterblast, no soul blast whatsoever, but it sadly comes with a Grade 2 with a 7k body, so it's not that great in that sense. And the fact that you also already need to have more rearguards than your opponent means that you already need to waste more resources to activate his skill, and then it's an on hit. So I don't know where this card is going to be ending up, if it's going to be run or not. Next up, we've got an Over Grappler's promo, and this Grade 1 has the skill Continuous Rearguard Circle. When you or your opponent would choose your unit for an effect of your opponent's card, choose units, including this one, as much as possible. So to basically sum this card up, when your opponent is targeting one of your cards, and it doesn't matter if you need to pick one in the case of Shadow Paladin, or they are gonna pick one in the case of Kaguro, they need to pick this one as much as possible, as long as it's a legal target. It might be a great card for an Overgrappler to have to combat basically all the retire clans that are going to get some support in the future. And next up, we've got a very interesting Dimensional Please card. A lot of people are looking at this thing like, what has this to do with Dimensional Please? Well, Dimension Please is an archetype that's specifically around aliens, xenomorphic monsters and creatures, so this might be a clue that the upcoming Dimension Please support might be focused around aliens, or we get an alien archetype support set boost in that set itself. So maybe Seal is getting a return in Standard. But its skill is Auto Guardian Circle. When placed, cost counterblast 1, and your opponents cannot boost until the end of turn. Current boosts are still active. So basically what it does is that when your opponent is attacking with one column and probably gonna boost, that boosting still works, but when you place this thing and activate skill, the other 2 attacks cannot boost anymore. So you lock out boosting skills, you lock out basically also a strong booster in some sense, and against Axel that are gonna ping pong around with their Axel markers, you can maybe shut down an entire attack column. Think about Ezel that has that Grade 1 at the end of the battle that it boosted counterblast 1, put it in the soul, then draw and call something. You can basically eliminate that combo with this single card. So in some scenarios, this card can be really great for Dimension Please to have some good defensive options. Then next up, we've got a very, very strong Link Joker card for as well as Premium S Standard, and its skill is Auto Rearguard Circle. When placed, cost Soul Blast 1, and your opponent cannot turn his or her cards face up during your opponent's next turn's end phase. Actions such as unlock, putting to face up, and countercharge cannot be done. So any card that's face down cannot be turned face up during the end phase. In standard, that basically comes down to things like unlocking and undeleting. That will not work on its own. It's basically an Omega lock card that can be placed on the rear guard, and it works that way. Only in premium, you have cards like Victor that at the end of the turn it can potentially countercharge. Cannot do that anymore. You also have the Grenache play for Grand Blue with all their hollow at the end of skill that can countercharge potentially. All those plays are locked out. You cannot turn any card face up. So that can be really nasty in some good premium decks as well as in some standard future potential. Then next up we've got a Grand Blue promo, and this card has auto when it put into the drop zone from deck, cost, Soul Blast 1 and call this card to the rearguard circle. It's okay, it's a grade 2 8k, it's not that great as stats, but I think a lot of people are overlooking this card allows for a potential multi-attacking in Grand Blue, as Grand Blue has on attack mill cards. So if you have this thing in your deck and you mill it on basically in the top 2 of your deck, you can then call it to the field, and if you already attack with a column or only with the unit in the front row, this one can then put on top of that rested unit and you can attack 4 times in a turn. Might not be really that great, but at least an extra attack in a protect land that is only limited to 3 attacks might make a big difference. Then next up we've got 2 very interesting promos for Aqua Force. The first one is this guy, grade 2, that's auto rearguard circle. When your Vanguard attacks, cost, retire this unit, and one of your Vanguards get power plus 10k until the end of turn. At the end of the battle, if the attack hit, draw a card. This is a great card for the current Maelstrom support set, basically the deck that we have now, as it allows to have another unhit effect on the Vanguard. That's basically the attack that people will tend to let it go through, as they need to block the next 2 attacks. If you have this thing on the field, attack with it first, then you use Maelstrom, then use its skill to pump up that Maelstrom, and mind you that power stays until the end of turn. So if we could reset the Maelstrom, that's another extra 10k power. But if they decide to let that attack hit so they can guard the 3rd and 4th attack, we've got an extra free draw out of that. And that is pretty big for a clan as Aquaphor. So this, in my honest opinion, is already a great card, and I wish I could already put it in my Maelstrom deck right now, as it's really good. Then next up, another Aqua Force promo. This grade 1, 5k body. Her skill is auto rearguard circle. When your unit attacks, if this is the 7th battle of that turn or more, cost, retire this unit, and your opponent cannot call grade 0 cards from their hand until the end of the battle. But the interesting part about this card is that it's 7th battle. Currently, with the current support and deck, that's almost impossible in most scenarios. Sure, we could manage to do that, but that is in the perfect ideal circumstance that you can put out that many attacks. This led me to believe, as this is the promo for the new support, that the new support for Aqua Force is gonna be insane with the amount of attacks that they'll be able to generate now. And that rounds up all the promos from this week's reveals, so let's go over the last 2 cards that they revealed for Bermuda Triangle, and then go over the big news that they basically revealed at the end of the stream. So first off, we've got this grade 2 for Bermuda Triangle, and that's Blue Silver Diva Brume. And she got 2 skills. Her first one is continuous rearguard circle. During your opponent's turn, this unit gets power plus 5k. Very interesting. Usually it's the other way around, but in this case it's only a 15k unit on your opponent's turn. Personally, I do not like this skill. It's not really that great. We have this one in Genesis, but in Genesis it's basically during both players' turn. That's a lot better. So it's only a defensive card. In a Force clan that tends to be more offensive, so that's a little bit weird. And her other skill is auto and rearguard circle. When an attack hits a Vanguard, cost, counter plus 1 and draw a card. Very basic skill. Not really that overwhelming. That's very interesting in that sense. So I'm very curious if it's gonna make the cut. Probably it's gonna be in some people's build, but we have to wait to see what the rest of the deck is gonna do and how it functions. Probably in the Highlander build, might not be that bad to run this one, but in the current build with all the VRs, don't know. Speaking of VRs, let's go over the second to last VR for Bermuda Triangle, as they released another one this week, and that is Colorful Pastrel Caro. And she got 2 skills, like every other VR in this set, and her first one is the Melody skill, that's continuous on Vanguard to rearguard circle. This unit gets boost and continuous rearguard circle. During the battle that it boosted, this unit gets power plus 5k. This is shared among all units with Melody. So we already saw the Melody for generating a power to everybody. We saw a Melody with an on-hit effect. We saw a Melody with an intercept plus 10k shield for the Great Freeze. And now we finally, as a lot of people already suspected, see the melody with that generates boost for everybody, as well as some extra power to the units that are boosting. Great freeze are gonna be very insane in this deck, and I think it's the Morikawa dream as it stands now. But she has another skill, and that's auto on Vanguard Circle. When placed, cast Soul Blast 2, search your deck up to one colorful Pastoral Caro, so basically yourself, review it, put it in your hand, and shuffle the deck. So with that, you can basically fix your next right chain, or you can put another card on the field to have another powerful booster attacker, depending on what for field you're building. But overall, that's pretty damn good, as she calls herself to the field. Then you have 2 that gives the boost and the plus 5k when boosting. So you stack that on the boosters themselves. That's pretty damn good. Also, you can make a very powerful single column lane, as you can put her right behind the Vanguard. Then they themselves are 26, but because of those double plus 5k when boosting, that's a 36k column without any force markers or whatsoever. So yeah, Bermuda is looking pretty damn fine, and we still have 1 VR to go. So that's another melody skill that we still need to wait and see what it's gonna be. But that's not all the news for today. As I stated before, at the end of the stream, and as well as at the end of this video, they revealed the artwork for the upcoming set that contains Aqua Force, Dimension Police, and Grand Blue. And once again, Aqua Force is on the cover of this box with Glory Maelstrom, and I personally am really hyped about this, as I started Vanguard playing with the idea of building an Aqua Force deck about Maelstrom, but I didn't know at the time that that was outdated as fuck at the time, as I was entering mid-Jira and I saw the original series and saw Maelstrom as a box art, and I was like, that unit looks amazing, I want to build that deck. And then the deck was not viable at any point whatsoever. Now we got the first Maelstrom. I was really happy about it, but the deck wasn't strong enough to compete with a lot of the decks at the time, and especially with all the newer support, but still a fun deck to play. But with Glory Maelstrom, I am having hope, as well as with the Aqua Force promos that we just saw. The Grade 2 itself, already great. That makes the deck a lot more consistent and a lot more threatening. But that Grade 1 is piquing my interest. That 7-wave attack condition. Does that give us any hint about this upcoming set support for Aqua Force? As what is Maelstrom gonna do this time? Is it something like, if you Soul Blast a Grade 3 or Soul Blast a Maelstrom from your soul, restand your front row, or restand all the units on the Exo markers, maybe something like that? Or does it give, again, guard restrict in some sense, like the original one? As of today, we have no clue whatsoever. But we can only dream, we can only imagine, and we just have to wait and see for the upcoming weeks and weeks of reveals when they finally are going to tease about the official skills of these new cards, as well as the focus on the support wave for Dimension Police and Grand Blue. But that's about everything for me today, and that also runs up this Cardfight update. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these new support and all the promos that we got, the Bermuda Triangle VR, as well as Maelstrom, Glory Maelstrom. Are you hyped about the set? Are you not? Let me know in the comments down below all your thoughts about the subjects. And yeah, if you liked the video, leave a like. Also, subscribe to the channel and hitting the bell button to be updated for any more videos concerning Vanguard on all kinds of topics. But as always, guys, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and see you guys in the next one.